People think they know Charlotte. They really don't. Not because it's boring, but because it's layered. This isn't one vibe, it's three completely different tempos wearing the same skyline. I've watched people thrive here. I've watched people pick the wrong pocket and feel boxed in. Same city, different rhythm. South End, it's coffee on the rail trail, dogs in $40 harnesses, brewery patios at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, blue line into Uptown while everyone else stares at brake lights pretending that they're fine. Valentine, it's 5 bedrooms, backyard evenings, carpool lines wrapped around the block, and HOA emails about your trash can. Annoying? Maybe, but your neighborhood still looks sharp 5 years later. Then the quiet power move near South Park or Cotswold. Brick ranches that haven't blinked in 40 years. Heavy tree canopy. 10 minutes to everything. No bubble, just leverage. The wild part? All three are within 20 minutes of each other. When the wiring lines up, it just works. When you don't, you feel it. So the real question is, which version of this city are you built for? Because one of them is going to click instantly. All right, quick reset. Our job isn't square footage, it's alignment. I help people figure out not just where to live in Charlotte, but how they want their days to feel. I've had clients swear they were city people until they toured Ballantyne and suddenly started pricing patio furniture like it was a personality shift. Houses are everywhere. Fit is rare. Dialing in the right lifestyle is where people miss. So as we walk these three homes, don't get hypnotized by countertops. Picture your mornings, coffee on the rail trail, while a train rolls by and cranes swing overhead. Or a quiet subdivision off the I-485 loop where the only sound at 7 a.m. is sprinklers and a garage door opening. Fast and loud, calm and controlled. And the wild part? All of it is within 20 minutes of each other. Depending on which side of I-77 you pick, yes, that does matter, because the house is the transaction, the rhythm is the life. We're starting where the energy hits the second you step out of the car. Charlotte doesn't have neighborhoods. It has identities, three completely different ways to live, hiding under one skyline. And the numbers back that up. Owner occupancy in the urban core sits around 40 to 50%. Head south and it jumps past 70%. That alone tells you that this city isn't one vibe, it's layered. I had a couple fly in convinced they were South End people. High rise, walk everywhere, rail trail mornings. 20 minutes later, we're in Ballantyne near the bowl, watching Ardrey-Kell carpool line move like a NASCAR pit crew. And suddenly they're talking patio depth and grill placement. Same afternoon, full identity shift. That's Charlotte. Around Uptown and South End, you're pushing 5,000 plus people per square mile. Drop below 1,500 once you hit the outer ring and you feel the air change. South End moves, blue line bells dinging, music spilling off patios between Sycamore and East Boulevard, heat bouncing off of South Boulevard in July. Ballantyne tightens up, cul-de-sacs, lawns cut with military precision, I-485 humming in the background, and backyard lights flipping on at the same time like someone hit a switch. Slide towards South Park or Cotswold and it slows again. Thick tree canopies, brick homes with history. Providence Road at 5 p.m., reminding you this is still a car-first city. Over 80% of people here drive alone, even the ones who swear they won't. Same metro, completely different weekly rhythm. Here's the line that most people miss. You're not choosing a house, you're choosing a tempo. The average commute here is about 26 minutes, and that sounds harmless until you realize that number hides corridor chaos. Location isn't about distance. It's about which 26 minutes you're signing up for. Charlotte is not interchangeable. It's identity-based. Where you wake up will shape your stress level, your social life, your resale potential, and your entire week. If you're trying to figure out which version of Charlotte actually fits your wiring, don't guess. We're the local Charlotte real estate team of choice, and this is exactly what we do. We help people decode the layers before they make a move that doesn't match their lifestyle. If you're relocating, selling, upgrading, or positioning yourself smart in this market, call us, text us, email us. All of our info is in the description below. Let's make sure you land in the version of Charlotte that actually fits you. If you want your week to feel alive, this is it. South End was built around the Blue Line, and once that rail hit, everything accelerated. Those stations pull the highest ridership in the system. Developers followed the tracks, and so did the money. Density pushes past 5,000 people per square mile. It's a younger crowd, mostly renters, high turnover, and high momentum. Walk the rail trail between Sycamore and East Boulevard around 6 p.m., and it feels like controlled chaos. Joggers weaving through dogs, patio crowds stacked at Atherton Mill. You hear the train bells before the traffic slows. It smells like hops near Triple C. Optimus Hall parking lot? Well, good luck on a Saturday. Everything is tight. Grocery, gym, dinner, drinks, all stacked within blocks. Now, Charlotte is still a car-first city. Over 80% of people drive alone. But here, you do not have to every day. That optionality is the premium. That's why price per square foot runs higher than most of the metro. You're buying time control. Now, NoDa, it's old mill houses, murals, North Davidson buzzing late. The 2018 Blue Line extension stepped on the gas and mid-rise apartments followed. Prices climbed, inventory stays tight, and the evening muse still packs out. But 2 blocks away, you'll see glass balconies replacing homes that used to hold artists. And some call that evolution, some call it commodification. Either way, demand won. Now, shift to the Dilworth Edge, tree canopies, historic bungalows, Freedom Park anchoring the lifestyle. Ownership dominates here far more than South End. Renovated homes pull strong dollars per square foot because supply is limited and people hold. And slide closer to South Boulevard and townhome infill starts appearing. Gentle density creeping in. Not loud, just steady. It's the same tier, just 3 different expressions. South End is velocity. NoDa is personality under pressure. Dilworth Edge is stability with access. Here's the real trade. You're choosing proximity over privacy, energy over elbow room, and movement over stillness. And yes, you might hear your neighbors. Parking decks get tight. Construction cranes are part of the skyline. And that friction is the cost of momentum. But for the right person, that buzz feels like oxygen. So quick gut check. Does that charge you up or wear you out? Drop it in the comments. I want to see where you land. Because once you head south of I-485, density drops below 1,500 per square mile. Owner occupancy jumps north of 70%. And rail fades into the background and backyards take center stage. And the rhythm shifts hard. You don't end up in Valentine by accident. That corridor was built as a corporate suburb in the 90s, and you still feel it. Valentine Corporate Park sets the tempo. Johnston Road carries the traffic. Office towers empty around 5:30, and the bowl lights up like someone flipped a switch. This is Edge City living. Real jobs, real rooftops, structured growth. Ownership dominates here. In many neighborhoods, north of 70% of homes are owner-occupied. People aren't rotating leases. They're upgrading kitchens, adding pools, and planning to stay. Mornings start early. Garage doors opening in waves, Ardrikale drop-off moving with surgical precision, coffee in the cup holder, 485 already building up by 745, and NCDOT flags congestion along Johnston and I-485 regularly. Light rail doesn't reach this far. You drive. That's part of the agreement. But here's what people misunderstand. It's not chaotic. It's coordinated. Waverly feels like suburban compression. Park once, whole food bags in one hand, dinner 10 steps away. Kids sprinting across the central lawn while parents hover near patio heaters. Apartments sit above retail, so you get a younger renter presence here than in Waxhaw or Weddington. It's marketed as a hybrid, and inside that bubble, it works. Zoom out though, and it's still suburbia. Keep heading south and the environment stretches. Waxhaw has been one of the fastest growing towns in North Carolina since 2000. Union County planning maps show subdivisions pushing outward steadily. School ratings drive migration conversations constantly. Commute to Uptown during peak can hit 45 to 60 minutes depending on corridor timing. That's the math. Quick reset. None of this matters if the rhythm doesn't match you. Saturday mornings look different here. Youth soccer fields packed before 9 a.m. Golf carts cutting through neighborhoods. Fresh cut grass hanging in the air. Driveways wide enough for actual gatherings. Weddington takes it further. Extremely low density zoning. Estate homes on acreage, among the highest median household incomes in the state. Strong resistance to commercial sprawl. You won't see strip centers popping up every mile. Privacy is the product here. Price per square foot reflects that exclusivity. You're not paying for rail access, you're paying for land and control. Across all four areas, the pattern is clear. Car dependency is structural, not temporary. School zones influence demand more than transit maps. HOA governance keeps aesthetics tight. Corporate proximity fuels income stability. Suburban South Charlotte runs on predictability. The noise drops at night, stars show up, and backyards become the social venue. But it requires intention, commute planning, calendar coordination, tolerance for toll lane pricing when traffic spikes. For the right household, that structure feels like stability. For others, it feels like routine. And if both rooftop energy and master plan order feel slightly too defined, there's another layer of Charlotte that doesn't operate on corporate parks or HOA newsletters. Older streets, no uniform fences, less symmetry. That's where we're going next. Inside the 5-mile ring, land starts winning. South Park operates as Charlotte's second business core, whether people label it that way or not. Morrison Boulevard stays busy for a reason. Finance, healthcare, professional services all cluster here, and that employment gravity drives income levels that sit among the highest in the city. In several census tracts around South Park and Myers Park, median household income clears well into the six figures. That stability shows up in pricing. Luxury condos here routinely sit at the top of Charlotte's vertical market, and price per square foot in Myers Park consistently runs above most other city neighborhoods. County tax assessments over the last few years reflect what buyers already know. The dirt is the asset. Drive Queens Road West in the fall and leaves scrape across brick sidewalks under a canopy that blocks half the sun. There's no construction cranes, no stacked balconies, just quiet confidence. Ownership is strong here, turnover is lower, and when homes come off market, it's often because someone renovated, not because someone left. Teardowns in Cotswold and near Randolph Road aren't speculative flukes. They're calculated plays on location durability. Cotswold feels transitional in motion. Mid-century brick ranch on one lot. New custom build next door. Randolph Road traffic at 5 p.m. reminds you the city is pressing inward, even if neighborhood meetings push back. Appreciation has been steady and renovation velocity keeps climbing. The Madison Park runs on lifestyle density without vertical density. Montford Drive patios are buzzing, Park Road Shopping Center is still steady, ranch homes trading hands as buyers chase proximity inside a more approachable price band compared to Myers Park proper. From here, Uptown is often a 10 to 15 minute drive on a clean Providence Road run. Now compare that to a 45 to 60 minute Union County commute during peak time, and you understand the proximity premium instantly. But this tier isn't perfect. Now don't let that scare you. This is where leverage gets interesting. Homes are older, electrical panels get upgraded, roofs get replaced, property tax bills have climbed alongside land value in some of the corridors. You're paying for insulation and positioning, not builder warranties. Saturday morning might mean a Freedom Park loop before the heat hits. Coffee on Selwyn, tires rolling over streets shaded by oaks that were planted generations ago. Urban gives you velocity, suburban gives you structure. This gives you leverage inside the city's most durable corridor. It's not loud wealth, it's strategic placement. And once you see how these three identities stack up, choosing a house stops being overwhelming. It becomes obvious. So let's tie it all together. Here's the mistake almost every relocation buyer makes. Charlotte isn't one commute. It's 5 job magnets pulling traffic in different directions. The average commute sits around 25 to 27 minutes. And that sounds simple, but it's not. That number hides corridor reality. Uptown still anchors the biggest employment cluster. Finance towers, corporate offices. That pool loads I-77 from Lake Norman and pushes 485 from Union County every single morning. South End Tech feeds South Boulevard. Ballantyne draws traffic down Johnston Road. University City loads I-85, and the airport runs its own shift-based rhythm. This is a polycentric city. Multiple centers, multiple flows. And more than 80% of people still drive alone. The blue line stabilizes South End to Uptown and up to UNC Charlotte. Park and ride fills early, rail reduces parking stress more than it slashes minutes. Step outside that spine and that car dependency takes over. I-77 north of Uptown is still the most stressed corridor. 485 now shapes suburban to suburb travel as much as suburban to downtown. Distance isn't the issue, the direction is. 15 minutes up Providence Road from Cotswold feels easy. 30 minutes crawling on 77 with brake lights past exit 23 feels like a drain. The express lane board jumps from $5 to $14, and suddenly reliability has a price tag. These managed lanes buy predictability, not speed. So quick question, which corridor are you dealing with right now? 77, 485, Providence Road? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious which magnet you're orbiting. Growth in Union, Cabarrus, and Gaston counties keep feeding Mecklenburg job nodes. Roads expand, population expands faster. Hybrid work softened the peak a bit, but it didn't erase structural pressure. One stalled car near an interchange can ripple delays backward in minutes. Reliability matters way more than raw time. That's why the 5-mile ring holds value. Not because houses are newer, because being near your job node reduces variability. Charlotte isn't about miles, it's about which magnet you orbit. And once you understand that, this stops being about square footage and it becomes about designing your week. By now, something probably clicked. Not because of numbers, because it felt right. Charlotte's average commute sits around 25 to 27 minutes. It's neutral on paper, completely different depending on corridor. With more than 80% of people driving alone, your week is shaped by direction, not distance. This isn't about houses. Here's the shock. 2 homes priced the same can feel wildly different once commute reliability enters the picture. Time compounds faster than the square footage. It's about how you want your days to move. South End at 7:30 a.m., light rail sliding in, rail trail filling up, coffee in hand. You trade that yard space for immediacy. Density buys you momentum. Valentine midweek, office traffic is humming, Waxhaw's expanding outwards, bigger lots, school-driven migration. You gain breathing room and accept corridor exposure. Space replaces velocity here. Inside the 5-mile ring, it shifts again. South Park employment gravity, Queens Road canopy cooling the pavement, Freedom Park before dinner. Land values climbing quietly because proximity compounds. It's not flashy, but it is durable. These aren't neighborhoods, they're operating systems. Growth keeps pushing into Union and Cabarrus counties. Rail stabilizes the dense corridor. Corporate clusters keep Uptown and South Park active. This city is multi-nodal and expanding. But clarity beats square footage every single time. The people who thrive here align their lifestyle with their wiring. Motion, calm, or leverage. Pay attention to what feels natural. Once you choose rhythm, the map shrinks. Commute math simplifies and pricing tiers make sense. Forget where should I live and ask yourself, what do I want my Tuesday to feel like? Answer that and the rest gets easier. Most people don't choose the wrong house in Charlotte. They choose the wrong version of Charlotte. You just saw 3 completely different daily realities. Rail-driven momentum, structured suburban growth, quiet leverage inside the 5-mile ring. Same skyline, totally different Tuesday. We had a client move here convinced they needed the biggest house possible. 2 weeks of 485 at peak, and they changed course quick. Smaller home, closer in, gained back time every day. Another loved the South End energy until they realized they wanted space and calmer evenings. Valentine gave them structure without disconnecting them from opportunity. That's the shift. Guessing forces adjustments later on, but alignment builds it right the very first time. So your intention is what's going to win long term. Charlotte's job centers are multiplying and the corridors are not simplifying. If you treat this city like one blur, it's going to stay overwhelming. Clarity isn't urgent, it's strategic. If you're relocating, leveling up, or recalibrating your lifestyle, we are the local Charlotte real estate team of choice. All of our contact info is in the description. Call us, text us, email us, and let's move with a plan, not a guess. If you want to go deeper, watch our playlist. That's where we unpack the specific communities inside each tier. I appreciate you being here. Go choose your rhythm, and I'll catch you on the next one.